Welcome back, Guardians. My name is Easy now, and you guys are awesome. And what is awesome is this list that I compiled of 5 things that Destiny got wrong in its entirety of its history. But this is just totally my opinion. I'm not bitching or complaining about the game. Well, I kind of am. But, you know, I feel like these things are needed to be moaned about because they were just pointless additions to the game or just weren't produced the way that they should have been. So let's get into it, why don't we? In at number 5, we have Prison of Elders. Now, while this was a great thing to experience and each room had a different unique thing that was happening and every week it was different and things changed and there were different perks, they had the right mindset with this Horde mode challenge, and all in all it was a great experience. But the thing that they got wrong was the rewards for doing it, because the weapons that were dropped, whatever they were, just did not seem worth the time, energy and effort it took to actually complete the things that you needed to complete. I feel like the reward should have been on the level of like a Touch of Malice or a Vex Mythoclast, something of that nature. We had exotic bounties to get exotic weapons, but it just didn't feel the same. It didn't feel like a drop, like a random loot reward thing that happens to you. And all in all, it just wasn't worth the effort. In at number 4. Once the Taken King come out and year 2 of Destiny started, one major thing that I believe they got wrong, but it's definitely up for opinion and arguments, and that is the removal of primary elementals. Now, I understand why they did remove elemental primaries, but I feel it was the wrong thing to do. Because there was nothing better than running into a Nightfall and seeing, oh, it's Arcburn. What weapons am I going to use this week? Oh, I'll use my Fangavir Utes. Now it just feels like I'm just going to use the same weapons over and over again and just change my secondary weapon for when I need it. And it just doesn't seem to have the same effect that it used to while doing a Nightfall. And with the Nightfalls actually having worse rewards now, I feel like there's no real argument of, oh, it was too easy with primary elementals, because whether it's easy or not, it's not worth doing anymore. So I would really love to see primary elementals come back and maybe just nerf them a little bit when it comes to something like Nightfalls. And I mean just like a microscopic nerf, but all in all, I love primary elementals. I love the idea of them. I feel like it offered variety to a lot of people, but you know, it's gone and that's a shame. In at number 3. The Sleeper Simulant. This weapon had so much potential, looked so amazing in the trailers when it was announced. It was probably our own misconceptions of the article that was dropped promising us a new Gjallarhorn, or the Sleeper Simulant was going to be the new Gjallarhorn. Now when the Gjallarhorn is so amazing and you're left with the Sleeper Simulant, you sit there and think, wow, this was absolutely pointless, useless, and nobody really wants it. I feel like they could have made the weapon a little bit more fun rather than damage boosted through the roof. They could have had tracking bounces, more fun behind the weapon, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Let's move on to number 2. And in at number 2, we have artifacts. So what did they get wrong about artifacts? First and foremost, having light level on them. I feel that hindered a lot of players early on into the Taken King because it really dropped your average light level down dramatically. But, you know, once you get further into it, you can get higher artifacts and that changes. So that wasn't that big of a deal, and it was slightly wrong, but it gets fixed as you level up. The thing that they got wrong, in my opinion, was adding this useless slot, because artifacts could have been so good for customizing for each individual person. You could have somehow shown your artifact on your character as something visible for people to see. That would have made people so unique in what they look like, and not everybody would look the same. So I feel that's what they got wrong with artifacts. In at number 1, and the most useless, pointless thing ever to be added to Destiny, which could have been so good, and that is glass needles. So when it was announced as something that will change what your exotic is, like what stats you got, and I feel like some people mentioned somewhere that the perks would change, and it just does not warrant using or buying at all, unless you just want to max out on something like intellect. But you can very easily do that with other armor pieces and make sure all your intellect or whatever stat you want is in balance to how you want it without having to use a glass needle on it. I feel like they could have done so much more with it by having each exotic have some randomized perks that only are available once you use glass needles, and it's at your own risk to be able to roll glass needles and get those better perks, or the perks that you feel are better for you and your character. It definitely would have added more to the uniqueness, and I definitely would have liked to have seen that. But like I said guys, these are just my opinions about some of the things that I believe Destiny got wrong. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Let me know if you think of anything I may have forgotten or missed. And let me know what you think about my list. Hit the like button if you wish to. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video.
Yeah.